video lecture we will be discussing on topic protozoa. As the name suggests, proto means primitive and zoa means animal. Protozoa are the primitive animal. So in this video lecture we will be discussing on definition of protozoa, distribution or we can say the habitat of protozoa, characteristic, nutrition, reproduction, classification, and at last we will see the beneficial and harmful effect of protozoa. So first of all we will start with the introduction. The word protozoa came from the Greek protos, the word meaning that is first animal. The word protozoa has been derived from the Greek word which means that first animal. The word protos means first and zoon means animal. And the study of protozoa is called protozoology. The study of protozoa is called protozoology. Protozoa are the unicellular eukaryotic microorganism. They are unicellular as well as they are the eukaryotic microorganism. Unicellular which means that however a single cell have highly complex function. We can simply say that simple cells they will perform the essential and vital activities. So, in the simple word, we can define that the protozoa are the unicellular, eukaryotic, chemotrophic. They are the chemoheterotrophic motile organisms that belong to the kingdom Protista. So, this is the definition of the protozoa. They are the unicellular, eukaryotic. They are the motile organisms belongs to the kingdom Protista. Protozoa constitute a large group of about 65,000 species, most of which are harmless, free-living and inhabit water and the soil. And the few species are the pathogenic in nature. They are the parasite in the human and the other animal causing hundreds of millions of infection in a year around the world. So, some of the protozoa species they are harmless. And some of the protozoa species, they are the pathogenic in nature which cause the infections in the animal and the human. If we talk about the habitat or we can say that the distribution or we can simply say that the occurrence of protozoa they are grow in wide varieties of moist habitat. Wherever the moist habitat they are found, they grow more in number. Most of protozoa, they are the free living. They are the free living, we can see that in the fresh water they are found in the marine water and many terrestrial protozoa are also there. They can be found in a decaying organic matter in the soil. Wherever there is the organic matter where they decay those things and that type of protozoa is known as the terrestrial protozoa. Some protozoa are parasite on animal and the plant. They are the parasite as a host, they are living in the plant or in the animal. If we talk about the characteristic of protozoa, they are the unicellular organisms with fully functional cells. They are the unicellular, a single cell will perform all the essential and the vital function. They are the free living, they live freely and they may be parasite or the symbiotic. Parasitic which means that they depend on the host such as plant or the animal, or they are living as a symbiotic. Without harming the host, they live as a symbiotic. Protozoa are the chemoheterotrophs. They are the chemoheterotrophs. They cannot prepare their own food. They depend on the other. They are the motile, having locomotive organs such as flagella and the cilia for their movement. Okay, as I have already told in the definition that protozoa are the unicellular, eukaryotic they are the chemoheterotrophs. okay, and they are the motile organisms because they have the flagella and the cilia for their movement. We will see the structure of the protozoa in that the cilia that is the present, they are the tiny hair-like structure that will be the present throughout the body of the protozoa. And we can tell the example of the protozoa such as amoeba, euglena, paramecium, and one of the disease causing protozoa, that is the plasmodium. So this is the characteristic of protozoa. This is the structure of protozoa. You can see these are the cilia, and flagella is also present like this way, and the flagella, single flagella if it is a present, that is known as a flagellum. If a single flagella is present, that is known as flagellum. Flagellum, and that on the another head usually it is a slender and a long filament which is a single or multiple in the number. If we talk about the nutrition in protozoa, protozoa obtain their nourishment in many ways. They are holozoic nutrition. Holozoic, which means that they feed on the solid food particle, like in a manner of most of animal. They feed on the solid food particle. So they are the holozoic. Or we can say that they will obtain the nutrition by engulfment process. For example, they will feed on the bacteria, like they will form the pseudopodia like structure and they will engulf the bacteria. So their mode of nutrition is holozoic, that type. Holozoic, which means that zoic, which means that animal like. Holophytic, phytic, which means that plant like. Okay, they produce their own food through the photosynthesis. Saprophytic nutrition, which means that, or you can say that saprozoic nutritions, they will derive the nutrient from the dead and decay material. Wherever there is the dead and decay materials that are present, from which they will derive the nutrient. So these are the three terms: holozoic, holophytic, and saprophytic or sporozoic. Holozoic, which means that like animal like, they will feed the nutrient, feeding on the solid food particle in the manner of most animal. Holophytic means plant like. They produce their own food through photosynthesis. Saprophytic or saprozoic, which means that they derive the nutrient from the dead and decay materials. Parasitic nutrition, which means that from the host, such as if their host is the plant, if their host is the animal, from that they will take up the nutrient. And one of the another term, that is a mixotrophic. Mixotrophic, which means that they have a dual nutrition type. Dual nutrition type, which we can simply say that when there is the light is present in the daytime, when the light is present, they perform the photosynthesis, while in the dark at night time they will switch to the saprophytic. Okay, so it is a mixotrophic nutrition which has a dual nutrition type. In the day or in the light they perform the photosynthesis, at the dark they switch to the saprophytic. On the dead and decay material they will obtain the nutrient. So protozoa obtain the nutrition in a many other way. If we talk about the reproduction in protozoa, protozoa can reproduce their offsprings by both sexually and asexual method. Here are the example of the asexual and the sexual method. Asexual, they go for the budding, binary fission, schizogamy, or we can say that multiple fission, that I will show the diagram of those things, and sexually by conjugation and by the gametogony. Conjugation, which means that two protozoa that will meet together and exchange their genetic material. Two protozoa, they will meet together and exchange their genetic material. That is the one of the conjugation method. Gametogony, which means that there will be the union of two sexually differentiated cells. And the budding and the binary fission is already you are aware of those things. And schizogamy or the multiple fission, I will show the diagram of those. This is the diagram of the schizogamy, asexual reproduction. Generally what happened in this, okay, it is also known as a multiple fission also. It is also known as a multiple fission. Why we say the multiple, that I will tell you. Okay, in this, the first, whatever this is the first nucleus, undergo the multiple division from first to the 2, then like this, then undergo to the multiple division. The first, this is the first nucleus, they will undergo the multiple division from many nuclei, that a small portion that of cytoplasm, small portion of cytoplasm that will concentrate around each nucleus, and then they will divide into the daughter cell like this. These are the daughter cells. Okay, so it is a simple thing. From the first nucleus they undergo the multiple division, and from many nuclei, that a small portion of cytoplasm that will concentrate around each nucleus, and then the protozoa cell is divided into many daughter cell. That is known as a schizogony, or you can also say is that multiple fission. Okay, it is nothing, just a simple from one to the many daughter cells can be divided. In between that, the cells will undergo the division, nucleus will undergo the division. Okay, now the classification of protozoa. Protozoa belongs to the kingdom Protista, is divided into 7 phyla according to the electron microscopic structure. They are divided into the 7 phylum. Phylum 1, that is Sarcomastigophora. Sarcomastigophora, which means that they are having the single type of nucleus. They are having the single type of nucleus, and if we talk about their movement, they move through the flagella or cilia, or we can say that pseudopodia, which means that with the false feet. Sarcomastigophora, they are further divided into the 3 subphylum, that is Mastigophora, Sarcodina and Opalinata. Okay, they are further divided into 3 subphylum, that is the Mastigophora, Sarcodina and Opalinata. Okay, first, that is the Mastigophora. Mastigophora, they are having the 1 or more flagella. It is Mastigophora, it has been derived from the Greek word, and they are having the whip-like flagella. They are having the 1 or more flagella. 1 or more flagella they are having. Okay, and Sarcodina, it is a nothing. They move through the pseudopodia. They are having the flagella. Mastigophora, they have the flagella, and they have the pseudopodia. And they have this, Opalinata has the cilia for their movement. They have the cilia, which is a hair-like, tiny hair-like structure that is present throughout the body. With that they move. So this is the difference between the Mastigophora, Sarcodina and Opalinata. Okay. Further, this Mastigophora is divided into 2 classes, that is a Phytomastigophora and Zoomastigophora. The word Phytomastigophora, it has been derived from the Greek word. The word phyto, which means plant, and mastig, which means that they have the whip-like, and phora, which means that bearing. So, as the name suggests, chlorophyll bearing chloroplast is present. They having the plant-like microscopic organisms which typically possess the chloroplast, and they are photosynthetic. And simply we can say that from the word itself. And the second one, that is a Zoomastigophora. The word zoo means animal, maste means whip and the phora means bearing. So as the name suggests, they having the chloroplast are the absent, whereas in the phytomastigophora, the word phyto means plant itself, that is the chloroplast is present. In the second one, that is the zoomastigophora, chloroplast is absent. So here we have discussed about the first phylum, that is the Sarcomastigophora. It is having the simple type of nucleus, and it has been further divided into the three subphylum, that is the Mastigophora, Sarcodina and Oplinata. Mastigophora, they are having the one or more flagella. Sarcodina, they move through the pseudopodia. Oplinata, they move through the cilia. Mastigophora is further divided into two classes, that is the Phytomastigophora and Zoomastigophora. The name itself says that they are having the chloroplast is present, and Zoomastigophora, which means that the chloroplast is absent, and they may be free living, symbiotic or parasitic on the animal, or we can say that in the human. Now we will see the second phylum, that is a Labyrinthophora, Labyrinthomorpha. Okay, Labyrinthomorpha, they are the spindle shape. They are having the spindle shape, or we can say the spherical shape, and this are the most of the species of this, they are the marine, and they will form the colonies on the surface of algae. The third phylum, that is Apicomplexa. Apicomplexa, they are the spore forming. They are unicellular, in that the cilia is absent, and they are the obligate endoparasite of animal. They are obligate we can say that endoparasite of animal. And the fourth example, that is a Acetospora. Acetospora, in a simply we can say that they are the another one, that with the simply we can say that they are the parasite of the animal, especially they are the parasite in the animal invertebrates, marine invertebrates. Okay, here the one is the mistake, that is the fifth phylum. The fifth phylum, that is a Microspora. Microspora, they are the obligate intracellular parasite of invertebrates. Just they are the invertebrates of the obligate intracellular parasites, whereas Acetospora, they are the parasite of animals, especially they are the parasite of marine invertebrates. They are the just intracellular parasites of the invertebrate. Myxozoa, they are parasites of the fish and the worms, and they live in the both fresh as well as in the marine water. They are found in the fresh as well as marine water. The last, that is a Ciliphora, which itself says that the cilia is present in that Ciliphora, which means that cilia is present, and they are the shows the sexual and asexual reproductions, and they are the heterotrophic. And the example of Celiospora, that is a paramecium, in that the cilia is present. Cilia is present in the Celiophora. So this is what all about the classification of the protozoa. First, we had already discussed first phylum. The second phylum, that is a Labyrinthomorpha. Labyrinthomorpha, they are the having the spherical, or we can say that they are the spindle shaped, and most species of the Labyrinthospora, they are the marine. They are the found in the marine, and where they form the colonies on the surface of algae. Wherever they found algae, they form the colonies. They will get more the species of the protozoa, they come together and they will form the colonies on the algae. This is the phylum 2, that is the Labyrinthomorpha. The third, that is an Apicomplexa. Apicomplexa, they are the spore forming. They are the spore forming, and they are the unicellular. they are spore forming unicellular, and they are obligate endoparasites of animal. They are just simply endoparasite, which means that they are living inside the host cell, and here the host cell is the animal. The fourth, that is an acetospora. Acetospora, it is simply they are the parasites of animal. Okay, they are the parasites of animals, especially they are the parasites of the marine invertebrates. Wherever the marine invertebrates, they are the parasites of marine invertebrates. Apicomplexa, they are the obligate endoparasites of animal, whereas acetospora, they are the parasites of marine invertebrates. Then the fifth, that is the microphora. Microphora, they are the obligate intracellular parasites of just invertebrate. They are the obligate intracellular parasites of invertebrates. Then the sixth phylum, that is a myxozoa. Myxozoa, they are found in as both fresh water and the marine water, and they are the parasites on the fish and the worms. The last one, that is the seventh one, that is the coleophora. That is the example, that is a paramecium, in that the cilia is present throughout their body. Protozoa are classified into two types based on their activities, that is the harmful protozoa and the beneficial protozoa. Now we will see the beneficial and harmful effect of protozoa. First we will see the beneficial effect of protozoa. Okay, they are used in the wastewater treatment. They are mostly used in the wastewater treatment, and they are helpful in the sanitization. How we can say that they are helpful in the sanitization? Because the large number of protozoa that are living in the polluted water, and wherever the polluted water is, that the large number of protozoa you can see. Okay, now what they will do, they will feed on these organic matter, and thus they will slowly, it will purify the water. So it is used in the wastewater treatment. And protozoa consume the nitrate and the phosphate, thus improve the water quality. And the other beneficial effects, such as they are used in the sewage treatment, effluent treatment, you can say, that helpful in the water quality. They will improve the water quality. They are also an important part of the food web. They are important part of the food web. Okay, you can also say that they are used in the research tool. They are also used in the oil exploration. So these are the beneficial effect of protozoa. They are the scientific study. Many protozoa are used in the biological and the medical researches. They are used. So it is also used in the research tool. So these are the beneficial effect of protozoa. Now we will see the harmful effect of protozoa. They feed on the bacteria present in the soil, thus decrease the soil fertility. As we know that the many bacteria, they are the good, and the many bacteria, they are harmful also. So what happen, some of the microorganisms which are present, they will feed on those bacteria and they will decrease the soil fertility. They live in termite as a symbiotes. Okay, what happened, the termite, they degrade the wood. So as a symbiotes, they live with the termite, and indirectly they will damage the wooden furniture. Many protozoa are parasite. They live in the human body and cause the disease. I can give the one of the few examples, such as Plasmodium species. Plasmodium, they are responsible to cause the disease such as malaria. Plasmodium species. They cause the malaria. Another example, that is Enta-amoeba histolytica. They will cause the amoeba dysentery. Then another example, that is the Giardia lamblia. They will cause the intestinal infection. Leishmania is the name of the protozoa. They will cause the Kala-Azar disease. So they live as a parasite in the human and cause disease also. Here the one of the example, that is a Plasmodium, they will cause the malaria. Another example you can also write, that is the Entamoeba histolytica. They will cause the disease such as amoeba dysentery. Another example of protozoa, that is the Giardia lamblia. They will cause the giardiasis. Giardiasis, which means that intestinal infection. They will cause the intestinal infections to the human body. Another example, that is the Leishmania, is the name of the protozoa. They will cause the leishmaniasis, which means that kala azar, or we can, in the simple words, we can say that kala azar like disease. So this is what all about the protozoa. In that first we had discussed about the introduction. In that we have seen the definition of protozoa, which means that the protozoa, they are the unicellular eukaryotic, as well as they are the chemoheterotrophs. They are the motile organisms and they belongs to the kingdom Protista. And then we have seen the distribution. Wherever the moist condition they found, they will love to grow there. Then we have seen the characteristic. Then we have seen the nutrition. The mode of nutrition is many way they can obtain, such as holophytic, then holozoic. Then we have seen the mixotrophic mode of nutrition, saprophytic mode of nutrition. Then we have seen the reproduction. They reproduce both asexual and sexually. Then we have seen the classification, the 7 classification according to their phyla, okay, of Protista. Then we have seen the beneficial and harmful effect of protozoa.